Right. Hello again. This is going to be pretty pictures talk. I want to give a little show of all the fun new 4.3 GUI improvements and maybe explain a bit how they happen. And in the context of my yesterday's talk also, maybe explain why some decisions were made and how they look. Main thing is we are continuing the work on devices. As in Piotrek's talk before, you have heard we have the new devices API that gives so much more power. And so I used it also to redesign a bit the devices widget and device settings to give you more control, more fun options. A lot of the design is based on community feedback, including the last year's extremely productive design session on this summit, so thank you all. The evolution of the devices widget, this is the old state from 4.0, which had a lot of problems and a lot of user reports of being like, okay, I'm constantly misclicking things, have no idea what those things are. I can use it, but that's just because, you know, you get used to everything. We are very adaptable creatures, we humans. Then in 4.2, we made it a bit more readable with a bit more information and new options like attaching to new disposable cube. And now, the differences are a bit slighter in the way they look, but there is one thing that's using the new devices API that I think is very nice and valuable is the fact that now we have more categories of devices. So you will know better what the hell you just connected to your machine, or at least what the thing is saying that it is. My experience has been that you can discover truly fascinating things. For example, my headphones claim that they are a keyboard. I have questions. I think it's because there is the volume control, but still insane. And well, that's the idea, to make it a bit easier to use and to understand. Oh yeah, sorry. Now I have the nicer description. And also, we're getting some actual settings for devices. One thing is, if you have some storage devices, it's pretty normal for them to have a bunch of child devices, especially if you have a lot of partitions. It can be extremely annoying to use when you connect your trusty USB stick with 15 partitions, and then the widget becomes a bit unwieldy. So there is an option. You can enable persistent per device hiding of child devices. It's here here. What it means is every child device of this device is going to be hidden if we enable this. You just get one, not all of them. It's persistent, but by what we mean that all devices that claim to have the same ID will have the same option active when you connect them later. In this GUI VM, so like this happens for me in DOM0, so this is stored per GUI VM. Once you are using sysGUI, it will not be persistent, I think. No, I'm lying. I'm sorry. I'm lying. It's in the USB VM stored, not in the GUI. So better. What did I click? The wrong button. Sorry. Another thing is for cameras. The thing that we encounter constantly on our own Qubes team calls is that somebody connects their camera but not their microphone, or their microphone but not their camera. It always takes a couple of iterations until we all get, we can hear and see each other. So the very special settings here is that for cameras, you can enable setting that says attach with microphone. When you're attaching this camera, it will attach itself automatically with the microphone. And when you detach it, it will detach itself with the microphone. It's also like stored per device. It doesn't apply to all cameras, just the one you have set it on. It's a small thing, but at least for my own use, it has been very helpful in not forgetting to do that all the time. Yeah, and because you need to remember that you click this, because I, for example, would never remember it. there is an information like in the box that shows you information about the device. This device will attach with microphone to remind you that this is actually what's happening. All right, so those are the small changes in the widget. We have a bunch of bigger changes in the device assignments global config thingy. Because as Piotr has described, we have great new features like better, more comprehensive automatic attachments and blocking manual attachments. It's already great, but it needs some sort of graphical user interface. So we made new graphical user interface. You can also see that the global config looks a bit different. I'll come to that later. So now it has a new tab that says you can set device attachment. Well, I call it policy because what it policies what you can attach. Assignment, device assignment, and required devices. You can do two things. You can do automatic, as Piotr has described, you can do automatic attachment when VM or device becomes available. It will attach automatically, but you also can do ask to attach. So when you connect the device, Qubes will be like, oh, look, I see this microphone is now connected. Do you want to attach it to the VM as usual? You can see here, I have two devices. One of them has set ask to attach to one of those Qubes. This means I'll get a choice if both of them are running. And I get one that will attach automatically to work Qube the moment it's on. This is something that also Piotr has described, so I will not get too much in the detail here. We can also set the assignment based on the port the device is plugged in or the identity of the device. The limitation is here that if the device is not plugged in, it's called unknown device, unfortunately. Yeah, and this is the GUI for actually setting those settings when you can pick what do you want to match, what do you want to do with it, what will happen with it. And you can, as we mentioned, you can also block device attachments. It only applies to manual attaching, so it's supposed to help you not make mistakes, which has been a big thing in the GUIs I'm trying to improve for Qubes. You get a list of various device categories. The list that we get is based on painful looking through USB protocol specifications and hoping we get sensible categories. So if you ever have any opinions on that, improvements, please. Opinions here are very welcome. It's been a journey to discover how terrible USB devices are and how many different categories they can pretend to be or be. Yeah, and for example here, I have it set so that printers, microphones, smart card readers cannot be attached to work Qube. I also did a very small change that's very dear to my heart. The global config will actually show you a small dialog saying saving changes. I know it's small, but at least I sometimes was like, did I actually click the apply? Or for what am I waiting for? So that's a small change that makes me very happy. We also did a pass on icons everywhere because the thing about icons in Qubes, most of them were used in like how they appeared. Well, somebody used some defaults at some point and they just kept appearing, right? Which means that for a lot of icons that we used to have in Qubes Manager, for example, they were quite, of course, a lot of us are very used to them, but they weren't exactly readable or like interpretable on their own. There was this like fun row of icons in Qubes Manager that actually was supposed to depict the Qube class, except that like, well, I even asked Marek and he couldn't match the icons to Qube classes. And I think if he cannot use them, it's probably unlikely to be very understandable for anybody. And that's why, also that's what I mentioned yesterday, we now have a unified icon set to try to make them all fit together and use the same icons in different places. Not everything is yet ready, but you know, work is happening. There have also been some improvements on making the Qube icons better SVG files, small things, but hopefully will just make everything look a little bit better and less messy. And there was a redesign of the whole global config to surface more information. It used to have a lot of tooltips. And tooltips are not very good for accessibility. Often are not always very discoverable, so we try to move more of the text to be visible. That's on me. I used to love tooltips, and only then I was converted that maybe they're not the best way to be the only way of showing a certain information. So now a bit less tooltips, a bit more text, a bit more description. And I have to admit, writing those descriptions is a very difficult task to make things short and understandable. I will not say how many passes happened with the preload disposable setting, but I think it's at least like double digit, definitely maybe with triple digit of attempts of making it sound somehow good. And there is a bunch of contributions from community, and especially I do want to shout out Ali, who has did a lot of GUI contributions, so thank you, Ali. One of the small but nice things is now we have application icons in VM settings, which is just makes it easier to find the right application, especially if a given distribution loves to give very non-descriptive names for applications. There is an option to launch root terminal from the domains widget. If you press shift when a menu is open, you get, instead of normal run terminal, you get run root terminal, which is a nice, small, helpful thing. And the thing that I really like is that you can add some freeform nodes to every cube if you want to make any sort of node for you. It's not going to be in any way like passed or nothing's going to be done with it, but it's just going to make things look, it's going to be useful for your own reference. What are the future plans? As you have seen yesterday, a big part of the plan is like rethinking, cleaning up the whole widgets cube manager situation, getting an up-to-date design guidelines into documentation so that it's easier to reference things without being like, oh, maybe there's a talk about it on Qubes Summit. Maybe I'll watch the recordings. This is not great UX, I would say. And also, hopefully, we can work on better backup GUI and user experience with, hopefully, we can work on having wing backup, which would be incremental and wonderful, better integrated with Qubes itself and give itself a good GUI. Yeah, so this is a very brief overview, and that means that we caught up with the schedule, shockingly. So thank you all very much, and any questions, comments, opinions?
Yes, I especially like the pop-up with the I'm currently saving your settings.
I know,
That's
right?
really great.
I know, this is just very dear.
Did you think about maybe implementing a search feature for the applications to assign to a cube?
Oh, so like when you have this...
You had one slide, yes.
This one?
Yes, that
Oh.
left and then above all available applications that you can search for the application.
I would say I never thought about it, but this sounds like a very good idea.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, yes. I'd like to do that, yes. It should be easy, maybe. Famous last words.
Hello. Could you please go to the slide with the notes for the Qube?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a minor comment. I see notes and comments up to 265 kilobytes of clear text. Maybe it's scary for people who don't know to measure up text in kilobytes, how much it is and what it means.
I would disagree on, like, we put megabytes and bytes and we put megabytes and insist on being like legit MIB, not MB everywhere. So we get very precise about those unions. I do think that like this feels like there is a limit. I
Exactly,
guess.
there's a limit, and maybe just to say around 250 and 6,000 characters around.
Or maybe
it's,
we
it's
should
better.
maybe we should just say limit, not unlimited or something like this, because this is a lot, I think.
Actually displayed how many characters left.
Always a critic, always. But yes, this
That's what
actually
I
sounds
wanted
like
to
a good idea. This actually would solve the problem of explaining what it is. Yes, you're right. That's a good idea, yes, okay. That's a good idea for the next pass on this.
I think Ali is listening.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yes, Ali is listening, so.
It says to inform the person about the search feature for applications to open an issue. He might do it.
Please open an issue.
Okay, I'll open an issue.
Yeah, that was for Vessel.
And the limit
And
is
that was for
because
Wessel,
of
I'm sorry,
extra than
I-
clipboard size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the limit makes sense, but the good point is how to communicate it better. Yes, because yeah, Ali says rightfully that like there has to be a limit, like allowing us to put the entire text of the Ulysses in the Qubes nodes. Cube nodes perhaps is not the best of ideas, but it should be better, like more clearly communicated. Yes.
So maybe I missed that regarding this hiding stuff, hiding of the
Yeah.
childs. So were those childs then after hiding?
Hidden?
They're hidden.
Hidden. You can go
Hidden?
back to the
Okay.
device and like
So
say,
you cannot
okay, show
go
them.
more advanced inside. Okay.
No,
okay.
at this point, no. At this point, no. This is something that at some point, I would like to implement, like this like tree view
Yeah.
of devices. But I want to first we want to finish designing the interaction model that we talked about yesterday, and then implement those things like this in it. But this is a thing that we are keeping in mind, because yes, showing it as like a hierarchy would work well. The problem with showing it as like nested categories also was a bit of a problem with the menus. And one of the reasons like the widgets are quite limited, because when I got to third level of nested menus, XFCE started to be very cross with me, and like it stopped working that reliably. I even found a bug report
So
about
I
it.
can imagine this feature can be annoying, can be positive in some cases, but then you mark it, and then you have different device for which you would like to see those,
Yes.
and you cannot read that. So that's, but that's definitely a step in good direction.
Yeah, but I would like to explore in the future a way to show the hierarchy and not just have a binary show children, hide children. Yes, I think this is a good direction to go
Yeah,
towards.
I think the second thing is the switching of the mic and headset, which I guess Matthias from yesterday industrial talk said about conference VM, and somehow like kind of, okay, I'm switching to conference mode. I just like, please, those devices which are, so that's another question with the assignment.
Uh-huh.
Can I, if I have given attachment, can I say, okay, that attachment is something that I like, I would make it assignment.
You can't do it, but that's a very interesting idea. Could you make a ticket about it?
Sure.
Because I think this is yeah, please. Yeah, it does make sense.
I think in some of the menus you had this preferred or favorite device. or
Some
something?
designs,
Some
not
design.
in some implemented
Okay,
menus.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
You've seen pictures, yes.
Yes.
Just to be sure, the nodes, it's a property of the cubes now.
Of the cube, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It also should survive backup or things like this, like it comes with the cube.
And you can do whatever you like with Ansible with it, if you.
That's a very good question.
That's a very good question.
Not yet.
Soon. Oh, but that's a cool idea, actually. Huh.
I have a very short thing. Can you go to the slides about icons?
Yes, what do you don't like? I know that, I mean, I'm going to also fix the way they work in dark mode, yes.
No. Why the new cube is the only one that is colorful and otherwise all the others are not?
Oh, that's a very good question. I mean, I can tell you why, but it's not a good answer. So let me try to think to make a persuasive answer or fix it and make it black and white.
It looks nice, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's mostly because some of those icons just come from programs that are being called. And that's why like it's just a program icon. But you're right that it does look inconsistent. All right. Thank you.